Hi folks, Stephen from Wagtail Urban Farm. Today I'm talking about indoor plants. There's a few things that we need to do to keep them healthy, and I'll explain them to you. Alright, so indoor plants. Plants don't naturally grow in a cave, do they? And we kind of live in caves. So if we want to have plants inside, we've got to get them the best situation for their health. Some plants like really low light, some plants like lots of light. Different places in the house have different amounts of light coming in. If you're not sure, put a plant where you think it might grow, but watch it, observe it, interact with it. So here I've got a peace lily. If you have a look, you can see the plant's growing completely that way. I'm growing it in a really low light situation and the plant's trying to get to the light. This plant's telling me it wants to be somewhere where there's more light. So the other thing we can do is we can bring plants inside from outside and put it in a spot to pick up the room. Take for example a bonsai. You'll never see these growing indoors and being healthy. They're always outside, but often you see them displayed in the house. You can do this with any potted plant. Some plants like the snake plant will do really well in a low light situation. You'll often see these ones in shopping centres. They quite often grow on people's verges too, and if you go and knock on the door and ask if you can take a piece, they grow really easily. This is a cutting that I found from somewhere. You can see I've just stuck it in the pot and it's grown 2 new leaves. Another plant that does really well is the peace lily. They need very little maintenance and they're actually quite a low water user as well. There's just a few things you've got to keep in mind with peace lilies. One of them is if you overwater them, you can get root rot. Now, can you see just the tips of the leaves here are going brown? That's a really good indication that it's getting too much water or it's sitting in water. With all indoor plants, it's better to let them dry out a bit than keep them moist all the time. It's a common mistake. So another thing that some plants need, because they're inside, is a dusting. I usually just get a rag and just gently hold just the biggest leaves and wipe them, because the dust clogs the pores in the leaves and they can't breathe. That's all you need to do. What do we need to survive? Really, we need the air that we breathe, food, water and shelter. NASA did some research and found that there's 10 plants that clean the air really well inside our houses. One of them is common ivy, and this is a really easy plant to strike from cuttings. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut a piece about 20 centimeters long. I'm going to hold my fingers at the top of the cutting to remind myself that that is the top, and then I'm just going to strip these bottom leaves. Sometimes if they're on there a bit tight, you can just cut them off. And then I'm just going to stick that in a pot full of premium potting mix. It doesn't have to be a big pot, just like that. And then I just spray it with a bit of water every few days just to keep it moist. It doesn't want to be wet. And when I can see new growth coming off of that, I know it's ready to repot into a bigger pot. And then you just put that somewhere inside. They're a low light plant, so they'll do really well. So what do we do when our plants get too big for their pots? As you can see with this one, it's outgrown its pot. It's really tight in there. The roots are constricted and it's going to start suffering. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to reduce the amount of leaves that it's got, because when I damage the roots, the plant can't move moisture through itself and it can actually dehydrate. So here, I'm just going to take some of the leaves off, just to reduce that stress on it. We always think, oh, but it needs its leaves to survive, but it can regrow leaves. Oh, I'll take a few more off. Might look a little bit ugly for a while, but it will recover much more quickly from this. Now, I'm going to tease it out of its pot. This one's come out really easily, but you can see there's a lot of root mass there. Now, just with a hand trowel or two, I'm going to push that straight through the middle of the pot. Kind of let the roots guide me. There'll be a point of ease where they go through. You can see I'm not being gentle. Push another one next to it, and I can just split it open. Now I can see all the corms like that. Then it's just a matter of getting another pot. I mean, if I wanted to, I could wash all that soil away and completely repot it, but sometimes that stresses them out a little bit too much. Refill the pot. And then I want to give this a good soak, again, to reduce the stress that the plant's gone through. And I'd keep that in a really shaded position for maybe up to a week, just to let the plant recover. Once it's recovered, you can move it back into any position you want in the house. Perfect. So there you go. There's some hints and tips that might help you get started with growing plants indoors. I know people that have got every room of their house filled with plants. Don't be afraid to go and ask those sorts of people, hey, how do you get that one looking so good? I'm sure you pick up some really good tips. Plenty of resources online as well. All right, thanks for watching.